Thank you, Dr. Patello. Congratulations, Andrew.
I told them I did not want Andrew to go before me. You know, he has that voice that even, well, you're actually afraid not to believe him, aren't you? And I couldn't wrestle him to go before him, so. Well, good afternoon, or as Dr. Werner said, or good evening, class of 2015. Before I commence with my speech, I just want to take a moment to tell those of you who are from out east that our thoughts and prayers are with you, your families, and your friends as maybe they have to dig out from the effects of Irene. Well, welcome to IUP and this beautiful campus. I actually have a 39-year association with IUP, not only as a professor who came here in 1990, but also as a student who had their convocation in this very same space, Fisher Auditorium, in August of 1972. If you were a music major, you just got transferred. Yes, they had electricity, kind of. Seriously, things have drastically changed since that time, both from the size of the student body, campus buildings, and the way we give orientation to our freshman class. Does anyone know what this is? It's called a Dink, D-I-N-K, and all freshmen in the fall of 1972 had to wear it on campus for the first week so everyone could tell you were a freshman. I even found a picture, I couldn't scan it quick enough, I just found it this weekend, a picture of me in my Dink from 1972 that I'll be glad to show you this afternoon in the Oak Grove. But let's talk about freshman humiliation, shall we? Back then, if you asked campus directions from an upperclassman, they'd give you bogus information and you would end up over in Homer City. I'm happy to report that this has become a kinder and a gentler campus since then. My first freshman rule: do not be afraid to ask questions. You are not expected to know everything about classes and the campus. However, keep quiet and everyone thinks that you do know, which you may think makes you look smart, but will eventually lead you to do something foolish. There are no stupid questions from freshmen. My talk today will be brief, but is intended to enlighten you to a profitable college career here at this very, very special place. Hopefully, my 39-year association with this institution will help you glean insights to begin a smooth transition from high school to university life. It's interesting that Dr. Werner talked about roadmap. Well, I'm going to upgrade us a little bit because the title of my talk is IUP, Your GPS to Success. How many of you own a GPS unit? Yeah, I bet some of you are kind of looking at it right now thinking, how can I get out of here? Well, certainly if you don't own one, you know what one is. A GPS helps map a turn-by-turn course to an unfamiliar destination. Meanwhile, it can help you find areas of interest along the way. So in a way, college, and for you, IUP, is your GPS to your future. I've decided to take familiar acronyms to help you remember how to set a successful course for your freshman year. As we all know, IUP means Indiana University of Pennsylvania. However, many students come to IUP with the idea that it stands for I usually party. Settle down. I know that you realize that you have much freedom as a college student, but you must remember with freedom comes responsibility. PIN, usually known as Personal Identification Number, should remind you as the following as a freshman college student. Partying isn't necessary. Oh. Get the military back, they're getting hostile. Year after year, though, many of our students prove that they are not mature enough to handle this freedom of time. The price of tuition is certainly an expensive partying opportunity. So to help you with your newfound freedom, remember this: GPS, Global Positioning System, now means get priorities straight. Connect with why you are here, and rather than taking reckless advantage of your newfound freedom, focus on taking advantage of the incredible resources that IUP has to offer. Read your IUP information guide. It is a terrific resource. Realize that no one is going to coddle you while you're here. We're not going to call you and wake you up in the morning. We're not going to tuck you in at night. We're not going to do your laundry. And I do have a personal confession. As a freshman, one time I wore socks for so long that they started to get their own souls in them. But seriously, we're not even going to make you go to class. But I tell you, if you neglect to attend class, there's a strong likelihood that you will fail that course. So personal responsibility is a key quality to embrace. RIP usually stands for rest in peace, which will be the state of your college career if you don't show personal responsibility. RIP now stands for responsibility ensures progress. The best way to begin your responsibility is with your ATM. That's not necessary to get cash to bribe your professors. It's not an automatic teller machine, but is by applying time management. Dr. Werner alluded to this. One of the best and worst things about a college curriculum is that your schedule does not require a class every hour of the day, like it did in high school. Again, the idea of freedom is even in your daily schedule. Students waste a lot of time due to this newfound class schedule. I suggest that after the first week of class, you map out a daily schedule which includes study time for each class, reading time, research time, as well as meal times and recreation time. Set your daily schedule, and above all, stick to it. Now, for many of you, the major you choose to begin your college career may not be the major in which you graduate come 2015. That's okay. It's just a resetting of your GPS.
Recalculating.
So,
Recalculating.
you have to...
Recalculating.
You ever talk to your GPS?
Recalculating.
Do you ever talk to your GPS? I have said some fairly rude things to that British lady. Recalculating. But please, don't be miserable in a major you've chosen. You're allowed to change your mind. You need to choose a major that you're passionate about. You have the rest of your life to build a career. I referred earlier in your setting a schedule to research. Please remember ULF. That is not ultra low frequency, but utilize library frequently. Long before the internet, there was a building of knowledge called the library. Ours is right next door. And though there are massive amounts of information on the net, not all is verified and much of the information is false. For instance, if we were in the year 1492, Queen Isabella's website would say the world is flat. The website for the Chicago Tribune of 1948 would say Dewey defeats Truman. And the Bernie Madoff website of 2009 would say, do I have a deal for you? Do not be academically lazy. In an environment when your entire world is at your thumbs, you don't have to talk face-to-face with anyone to communicate anymore, nor do you have to write incomplete sentences. Liberate yourself while you're in college. Explore verbal communication, research with historical sources, and become a whole person. How do you begin this? Let's go back to your PIN. Translate that as personal integrity needed. First, liberate yourself through personal integrity. There's a story about two IUP students that decided to go up to Penn State a weekend to party with some friends from high school that were students at Penn State. Well, they partied a little too hardy, didn't get back Monday morning in time for their 8 a.m. physics exam. So the one guy says, let me handle it. So they waltz into their physics professor's office about 10:45 and say, The one boy says, I am so sorry. He says, we went home for the weekend and came back late last night, had a flat tire. And of course, Sunday night, there were no places open. We couldn't get that flat tire fixed till this morning, and we missed the exam. Is there any way we could take it? The physics professor said, absolutely. He said, but you got to understand, I can't put you in the same room because I can't stand there for an hour and monitor it. They said, that's fine. He said, well, come back at 3 o'clock. So they walked out, kind of smug, came back at 3 o'clock. Professor escorted them to 2 separate rooms and gave them an envelope. Well, they both noticed that the envelope was kind of thin. So when they sat down and opened the envelope, there was only one question on that test. It said, which tire was it? Some of you, it's taken a while. That concerns me a little bit. I believe the majority of current problems in the world can be attributed, though, to a lack of personal integrity. Whether it's greed, the seeking of power, human intolerance, jealousy, cheating, lying, voter fraud, rage, or anger, those problems all stem from a loss of personal integrity. You see, for all of the knowledge you might gain at this university, for all the diplomas you might hang on your wall, personal integrity is the ticket to success. This is a great quote on personal integrity. If it was talent and hard work that got you there, it will be integrity that keeps you there. And another great quote. With integrity, nothing else matters. Without integrity, nothing else matters. Here's some definitions of integrity. Honesty, fairness, and decency. Adherence to moral and ethical principles. Character. Doing the right thing even when there's no one watching. And my favorite quote about honesty and integrity. The great thing about telling the truth is you don't have to remember what you said. Many of you will graduate and move on to graduate schools and or very successful careers. In this day and age, it requires a lot of luck. However, luck is not hard to attain. My definition of luck is when preparation meets opportunity. The preparation begins here. That's our job. That's your responsibility. Back in the early 70s, convocation speakers were fond of saying, look at the person on your left. Look at the person on your right. In 4 years, one of them will not be here anymore. I prefer to say, look at the person on your left and look at the person on your right. With the proper GPS, ATM, RIP, and PIN in place, we will all meet again for graduation in May of 2015. I'm hoping that this GPS course I've outlined for you will produce a grateful, productive student. I am also hoping that your time at IUP will produce a student of integrity with an upbeat approach to life and one with perseverance to get through those tough times, so that when we all meet again, May of 2015, we will see all of you as informed, unique professionals. Congratulations, class of 2015. Welcome to IUP.
Thank you, Dr. Stamp, for that fabulous introduction to IUP. Now, at this time, I would like to ask President Warner to come forward and present closing remarks. Following his remarks, please stand for the singing of the Alma Mater, led by Esther Hull, the retiring of the colors by members of IUP's ROTC unit, and the recession of the platform party. But most importantly, we have also prepared dinner for you in the Oak Grove. So please join us there to celebrate the start of your college career. Dr. Warner.
We begin your time at IUP with this formal ceremony, and a mere 45 months from now, we hope to end your career at IUP with another formal ceremony. 45 months is not all that far away, so commencement is just around the corner. This morning, this evening, you've heard from one of our outstanding faculty members, and you've met some others, at least you've heard them introduced, university professors who represent the very best at IUP, but there are 800 other faculty members here who are ready to engage you over the course of this year and the 3 that follow to bring you to successful conclusion of your academic career and attend that commencement ceremony in May 2015. You met our student trustee, Andrew Longacre. I haven't asked him this, but my guess is that when he sat in one of these seats that you're sitting in right now 2 years ago, it never occurred to him that he could be a member of the Council of Trustees as a student member. Andrew has that job nailed down for 2 years, but in 2 years there will be an opening, and there's no reason that you couldn't be a member of the Council of Trustees. It's a great honor. It's a great opportunity to learn about the university and to guide its future. So I urge you to think about being that student trustee. We will now conclude the ceremony with the singing of the university alma mater. The words are in your program.